Hello, today we are going to be making macaroni cheese. Now hopefully you all have a copy of the recipe so that we can follow through these steps as we go. Now the first step is asked us to fill a pan with water and get it on to boil. So we're going to get our pot, fill it half full with water. Now once we've done that, we need to put it on the heat. So when we're working with water, do we think we want the water at the front of the hob or the back? Yes, we want it at the back, out the way, so that we don't knock it over. So, my pan is sitting to the side and I'm then going to put the heat on. Why do I put the heat on without the pan on? Why have I done that? Of course, so I can see that the flame is definitely on, and then I'm now going to set my pan on to boil. It says also to add a little bit of salt, so I'm going to add a pinch. In the meantime, while I wait for my water to boil, I'm going to prep my ingredients. Now, at the start of the lesson, you'll have been asked to gather all your ingredients up to make sure that you're ready for the lesson and that we're not having to go back and forward. So, I have my cheese, I have a piece of marge here, and I've got my jug, milk, and some flour. Now, how much flour am I going to sit onto my paper towel? 1 tablespoon, well done, because it's 25 grams, and we're going for 1 tablespoon. We're still working in handy measures for S1. Do I need my flour again? No, so let's put it away. Let's try and keep this unit as tidy as possible. I now need to measure out my milk. So we need 250 ml of milk. You're going to, in this lesson, look at your jug and make sure you're working with the side that is on mils. From there, how many mils was it again? 250, well done. Now I'm getting down eye level. Why am I not holding my jug like this and roughly guessing? That's right, I need a flat surface. I need it to be flat so that when the milk goes in, it measures correctly. Okay, I now have my milk ready. I have my pasta ready. And in the class, I will hand out the pasta, so don't worry about that. I'll make sure that you all get the right amount. And then lastly, I need to grate my cheese. Which part of the grater, do you remember which part we use? That's right, this side here. So I'm going to grate my cheese, ready to go. When we get to the end of the cheese, it's quite important to then try and flatten our hand so that we're not hurting our knuckles in any way, getting caught on the grater. Do I need my grater again? Nope, we stack it to the side. My water has started to boil, so I'm now going to place my pasta in the water. What is a really important tip that we should do when the pasta's in? Do you remember what we did last time with the noodles? Yeah, just give it a little stir. We don't want it to stick on the bottom. Give it a little stir to make sure it's lifted off. Okay, really important stage now is that we are going to make the sauce for our macaroni cheese. I have my cheese prepped, I've got my marge, I've got my flour and my milk. I have everything ready to go. Now, we're going to be using another pan for this. What heat will I have this on? Low heat, well done. The only time we have a high heat is when boiling the water. Okay, so this will be in a low heat. And again, not setting my pan on the hob. I'm going to look, turn it on to begin with. Why do I put it on a big flame first, do you remember? So that I can see it, well done. And then I turn it down. Okay, my pan is now in a low heat. I've added my marge and I'm waiting for that to melt. There's 2 ways we could have made the sauce today. You could do the all-in-one, which is add your marge, flour and milk at the same time and just slowly stir until it thickens. Or what I'm going to do today is I'm going to make a roux. A roux is when we add the marge and the flour and we form a ball in our pot. Keep stirring, and that way it kind of gets rid of that starchy taste. So that is the other way of making a sauce, okay? I'll try and ask you in class what that was. It was a roux. Once all my marge has melted, that is when I'm going to add my flour. Now, how will I know when the marge is melted? What will it look like? Yeah, it will look like a sauce, all runny. And then I'm going to get my little whisk, and I'm going to whisk the marge and flour in the pot. I wouldn't really say whisk actually, I'm just moving it round until it is all mixed together and it will form a roux. So it'll form a mixture into like a ball shape. So that's it, it's all all together. I've mixed it, nothing is sticking to the bottom of the pan. And I'm going to gradually add my milk, okay? So add a little bit, carry on whisking. Now, what am I going to ensure the mixture is like before I add any more milk? What am I going to make sure there's none of? Yeah, I don't want any lumps. Well done, I don't want any lumps. When I have no lumps, which is very nearly there, I'm going to add a little bit more milk. It's really important that we gradually add the milk to make sure it doesn't go lumpy. Okay, once I've added all my milk, I'm just going to keep on stirring. It's really important that we keep stirring so that the mixture doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan. Now, it is quite runny now that I've added all the milk. Do you think I'm going to look out for to know when it's ready? What am I going to look for? What am I going to look for the change? Yes, I'm going to look for it to be a thicker mixture. So it should hopefully be nice and thick, and that's when I know when it's ready. My sauce is ready. Now, we need to make sure that the pasta is ready before we combine the two. How do you think we should test the pasta? How do we know when it's going to be ready? That's right, we should taste a bit. So, what do you think we're looking for to make sure that it's ready and it's going to be edible? What do you look for in pasta? That's right, we want it to be nice and soft. We don't want it to have a crunch or still be raw. So, all we do is we try it. That's nice and soft, it's ready to go. So once our pasta's ready, we turn off the heat before we do anything. Looking at our dial, turn it back to 0, and then we now need to drain it. Do you remember what piece of equipment we used to drain it? Yeah, we use the sieve. Okay, so we just get our sieve and our pan over the sink. Do I just walk back over with my drained pasta? No, I sit it back in the pot just to be on the safe side to make sure that it doesn't spill any water on the floor, be a slip hazard. So, now that I have my pasta, I'm going to add it in with my sauce and I'm going to stir it all through. So, we now have our nice cheesy mixture mixed in with the pasta. Where's this going to go now? Am I going to leave it in the pot? No, we're going to put it in our containers. Where's this pot going to go now? That's right, stack it to the side, it's cooled down. And we're then going to put the last bit of cheese on top. Now, usually in this lesson, we don't have enough time to grill it, but what I would do, and I'll just talk you through it just in case we do have time, we will get our tray, we will sit it on a baking tray, and remember, we've used the grill before, but I'll just talk you through it again. What we do is we look at our dial for our oven, we turn it all the way round until it looks like there's 3 sharp teeth pointing down. That is the grill mode. Every oven's different though, so if you are making this at home, ask a parent for help to put it on grill mode. And all we're going to do is place it underneath the grill for a few minutes until what? What will I look for? Yeah, the cheese to start bubbling, maybe a little bit golden brown. That's when you know it's ready, okay? In the meantime, I'm going to leave my grill like so. What could I be doing? Standing round? Stack up, wipe up, wash up. Let's go. Once we dry our dishes, do you remember where we put them? Do you put them straight back in your unit? No, I need to check them, or if there's a member of learning support in, they will check your equipment before we put it away. Now, as we're still drying and getting ourselves tidied up, it's really important if we are grilling that we're glancing an eye because we do not want it to burn. Using my oven gloves, I am going to get my macaroni cheese out of the grill. It is sizzling away nicely. Don't know if you can see that. Can hear that even. That's it done. All I need to do now is put my clean tray away once it's cooled down, get a final unit check. That's lesson over. Well done.